Welcome to the Write Good Books podcast, the audio companion to WriteGoodBooks.com, with your host Jason Bougger.
Hey everybody, it's Jason, and I'm back with Scott for the first time in a little while.
It's been a minute, as the kids will say.
Yeah, a minute. Does that mean we're woke? If we know what the kids say?
Yeah, we're cutting this whole intro out. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing so good. It's good to be back. We've had just craziness at my home front. I had the one kid starting kindergarten, another starting preschool. I've been sick. I've been work, day job, blah, blah, blah. So, you know how they say, the universe doesn't want you to write, and that's how it seems sometimes when life gets in the way. Are you all good?
I'm good, but I'm also busy. I'm on the road a lot for my job, and so that made scheduling even harder.
Yeah.
Because when you were up to it, I was out of the office.
Yeah. But now, here we are, so thanks for sticking with us. I thought, since we have been so busy and whatnot, it'd be fun to do a little podcast, go back to my tired and true topic of time management, and kind of just go over some writing things you can do when you don't have a lot of time. Because it's that time of year where you just don't. Have you had a lot of time?
No. And I guess, what do you want to start on? Do you want to talk about things to improve the career or things to improve the writing? Because those are,
you can go in those two directions. I'll use myself as an example again.
Please do.
It kind of depends on the mood. If I know I'm close to finishing a short story, say, and I only have 20 minutes to write at the end of the day, I might see if I can squeeze in 300 words before I go to bed. If I don't think I can, I might just go into Twitter and network for a little bit. So, what do you do?
For me, I tend to always go back to improving my writing. I will admit, I'm not the greatest marketer, and if you follow me on social networks, you'll see that they are barren, right? So when I'm crunched for time, I tend to ignore those, and I tend to focus on the writing.
They're not barren, they're more focused.
So focused, there's like one post every 2 years. That's focus right there. But no, it's like, yeah, you could do, that's certainly a good thing to do. You check up on emails, follow up on submissions, do the networking on Twitter or Facebook or what have you on that. Do some exploratory searches for places that might be interested in having you as a speaker, or as libraries that you haven't talked to, or bookstores that are opening up. So there's all sorts of things you can do to improve your career. Take little steps in 10, 15-minute chunks. But for me, I tend to do writing exercises. So, for example, I'll do character background. Maybe I'm working on a novel and there's a background character that just doesn't seem to be working. I was like, I got 15 minutes. I'm going to do a quick character sketch. Who is this character? Where are they coming from? What's their vice? What's their virtue? Flesh out some of those background characters a little bit so I can speak with a little bit truer voice.
Hey, that's a great idea. It saves you time from doing it later, too.
Right. And 15 minutes, it's not going to get really in depth. That's why it's those background characters, but sometimes it's enough to put a little bit of a spark.
Plus, then you've got the notes there, so when you are working on the larger piece, you don't have to take that 15-minute, pull yourself out of your zone and go work on a backstory.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I do that, too. Scrivener's great for that.
Oh, yeah.
I have a character profile for all my characters, major and minor, in my current work in progress. I'm not a big fan of writing exercises just because I don't feel good at it, or writing prompts, but some people might do that.
Oh, sure.
One thing I'll do is I might pull out a work in progress and just find a trouble spot and then just read that trouble spot a few times and not really write, just kind of think. Sit there and just think about what needs to be done and then leave myself a little note.
Yeah, and sometimes those trouble spots, you'll read it, right, and think, and then you'll think overnight while you sleep and come back the next morning or the next afternoon or whenever you write again.
Right.
You may have a little bit better idea. Because sleeping on it really does work.
It does.
So people tend to think, I've got to force this through right now. I'm going to stay up until I get this part done. Take a nap.
Yeah, sometimes, one problem I have with that, and this has happened to me more times than I can count, I think. I went to bed trying to work out a problem with one of my stories, and then I'll wake up in the middle of the night and say, yeah, I got it, and then I'll go back to bed, and then I wake up and I lost it.
Okay, we're diverging to sleep things, but no book by your
that's the solution.
But yeah, I mean, even doing little bits on the work thing that you're working on now. I sometimes do a little bit of world building.
Yeah,
if I'm working on more of a fantasy or sci-fi piece, I'll stop and think, okay, I introduced this concept. I'm going to take 15 minutes to think about what are some other repercussions besides the one I've already worked a story with.
Right.
Are there some economic issues, some culture issues? Does this give a group an advantage in the marketplace or in health or how long they live? What are some of the other consequences? Because sometimes that can bring more richness into a story as well. If you can work in a more well thought out big concept, and giving yourself 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, if that's all you've got, can help with that too.
Yeah, you can ask yourself why.
Yes.
Why is this character a plumber?
Well, the stuff that you said, my character is a plumber.
Yeah.
But knowing why they became a plumber, could help define future conflict, can define how they talk, what your dialogue is. Those type of things can help make a richer, more complete story. So,
you can also do things that you might not normally do, like research a little bit. Okay, I'm writing fantasy. I need to know a little bit more about how medieval farming worked. So if I got 20 minutes to write, maybe I'll spend that 20 minutes researching that.
Yeah, see, I don't do that because I'll get sucked into a rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I'm late for whatever it is I'm next for.
See, I'm the opposite. Research is like pulling teeth to me, so I'd be more like, oh, God, I have to do this for 20 minutes.
So there you go. Try some of these things and figure out what works.
Right, different people have different passions.
Well, I like writing exercises, right? You said you don't like them. I like to do them.
Yeah.
And there's some various ones. You pull some random words out of a dictionary and make a story with them.
That's kind of fun. Do you get into writing prompts at all?
I tend not to do writing prompts in general because usually I don't. Writing prompts works if you've kind of got a practice of doing that. For me, it's like, okay, this is time. I only have time to do a quick thing, so a couple random words, a couple things someone said, write a quick scene, not even a whole story, just a quick scene. Just that way I get used to trying out new ideas and trying to see how am I going to get a story out of farming and Tyrannosaurus Rexes and the color purple. Right. Not the book, the actual color purple. What can I do with that? And let's just play with it. And, it fills up 20 minutes, but I'm still thinking creatively and writing and
practicing.
Trying to create some prose out of some strange stuff.
I guess writing prompts are more for getting your ideas started.
And other people, they love them, and they use them as writing warm-ups or stuff like that. Sure. So again, what makes sense to you?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll read.
Yes.
I know no one reads as much as they should, and now that we all have smartphones making us dumber, we read even less. But I'll try to read. I need to read more in the genre I'm writing. That's always been...
Yeah, well, and that helps in two ways, right? It helps you learn what's on the market, and then you look at the craft.
Yeah, you use the M word again, market. That's also something important you can do if you've only got 20 minutes. Research your market a little bit. Just make sure you're not writing something that 300 people have already written.
Yeah, doing those touch-based things. So, I mean, just because you aren't spending your hour working on your great American novel, that doesn't mean you stop working. If you've got 5, 10, 20 minutes, you can still do something productive. And if you've got 15 to 20 minutes, you can listen to one of our podcast episodes.
Yeah.
That
might help.
I just had to throw that in there.
Because cheap plug is the best.
If you heard that message, you're already listening to our podcast, so I don't know how that helped. So, and there's other good ones out there that are short and concise too.
Yes,
so
lots of podcasts. Another thing I'll do is if I don't have a lot of time and I'm not really feeling as creative as I'd like to be, I might just write down goals for the week or the month, and or just watch a TED Talk.
Hey, there you go.
You know, you can find 10-minute TED Talk to get yourself inspired and make yourself feel a little productive. Or if you don't have a lot of time, spend that time brainstorming on how to find more time in your life to write. I always laugh when someone asks me, how do you have time to write? And then my response is, how do you have time to watch so much TV? And then I get punched in the nose.
Well, it's healing quite well. I'm just sitting across the table from you.
Thank you. It's all fun. But yeah, I'll go back to it. I think the actual quote I read was, the world doesn't want you to write, so you have to make the most of it, or something like that. And I do feel that way. Life gets in the way all the time, and I'm not complaining about me. It's everybody's busy.
Yeah. Well, it could happen with any endeavor, right? You know,
yeah.
Whatever you're into. But writing is one of those that oftentimes it's hard to explain to people why you can't go do something because you have to stay home and write.
Yeah.
So,
it's viewed as a hobby, or
even
whatever.
If you're making your living from writing, it's viewed as something, well, you could set that aside for me.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's another thing. We're kind of diverging off of that if you have a little time.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to protect what little time you have.
Oh, that is very true.
And there have been some people, I think we talked about this earlier too, you know, you set up, if I'm in this location, I'm writing, I'm working, I'm not to be disturbed. I think you do that with your children, right? If you're at your desk, that's...
Yeah, and they're real good about it, because they grew up with me writing. Not to diss my day job, but my kids think I'm a writer.
Hey, keep up that illusion.
Yeah, maybe the rest of the world will follow suit.
Maybe. But, you know, that's, I guess, something else we have talked about. We talked about it at length, but even these little 15, 20-minute pieces, sometimes you'll have to protect those.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that might be all you get in a week.
Yeah.
If you're really busy or dealing with other issues.
Yeah. And it can really add up. If you're fast enough to do 300 words in 15 minutes, that's... You know, what is that? It's a novel in less than a year. 300 words a day. That's...
So, 300 words a day. That's 2,100 words at the end of the week. Short story-ish, right? That's 8,400 per month. Not too bad. That's 100,800 words by the end of a year. Yeah, you got a novel at 300 words a day.
That's 2 of my novels.
Yeah, depending on the genre.
Yeah.
Or it's like 1/10 of a Brandon Sanderson one.
I was just going to say that. My goodness. He's approaching 300,000 words, I think, per novel.
But so there's that just goes to show you, even if you just do 15 minutes a day, consistently, you know, if you can protect 15 minutes a day, you can get a good chunk of a draft done.
You can. And 300 words, I know when I first started, 300 words would be like 2 hours of me writing a sentence, deleting a sentence, writing a sentence, deleting a sentence. But if you're planned ahead and you're practiced, you can get 300 words out in 15 minutes pretty easily if you know what you're doing, know what you want to do with those words, and no words have to be perfect at first.
So even though you may feel like 15 minutes isn't worth it, it could be worth it. So do something with it.
Yeah, don't ever catch yourself. This is my problem sometimes. I'll say, well, I thought I'd have an hour. Now all of a sudden it's late. I don't have a lot of time. Why even bother? And then get negative and instead say, well, hey, I still have 15, 20 minutes. Let's make the most of it.
Yeah, and like we said before, find what really turns you on. It's a writing exercise. Maybe grab that time to get a little extra reading in something that's really inspiring you. So doing some research, doing some character or world building stuff. I mean, you can do a lot in 15 minutes. Yeah. Especially if you're avoiding house chores in that 15 minutes. That makes you feel even better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't write something now, I'm going to have to go take out the trash. And I don't want to do that right now.
That's true. Taking out the trash can be your reward for doing the writing.
You have a funny mind when it comes to rewards.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it? Okay, on that sad note, I think we're good to call it a week. You have any ideas you want to share? Leave them in the comments section. And I think we'll call it a day. We'll be back in 2 weeks with lots more stuff. I think we're back on schedule. So, hopefully. You have any closing thoughts?
No.
Me neither. So thanks for listening. And if you'd like to support us, check us out on the web at www.writegoodbooks.com/podcast. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.